Start in 2 minutes, guys. Okay, let's get started. So, welcome to another live session, guys. Thanks so much for being here, and I hope you had a really great Easter break, a long weekend. Here in the UK, we had Friday off and Monday off as well. So my week it's starting pretty much today. Lots of things happening. That's why we saw the market yesterday not doing much at all. If you look the euro, for example, we just been locked here in this area here on the euro on the last few days, especially yesterday. We haven't done anything, and then today the volatility came back to the market. And talking about today, what a great day, okay? And when I'm talking about it is the volatility that we are having today. We saw, the forex market very active today. We saw the euro going lower to fighting against that 112 again. The cable tried to get above the 130 level and had a big rejection there. And today we are here, and we have been in this range, as you've seen here in this zone drawn here. We have been locked here since when? Since February, so it's quite a long time. And finally, the cable is breaking below that. We saw dollar yen not doing much. We saw Swissy. And what a great trade, great day we had on this pair. If you've been here on the live session, the last one and the previous one to that, I was alerted you guys to be ready for this move high on the Swissy because it was giving us signals that he was ready to rip higher, and we are seeing that happening. So I will cover that in a few minutes. Dollar Canadian breaking above that 134. If I draw here, you will see this better. As you've seen here, this area here was tough for the dollar Canadian. Finally, we are breaking, and now we are breaking this kind of maybe a triangle here. So really good squeeze on the dollar Canadian. We are seeing here equities as well making new highs. S&P, and if you look the long term, the weekly charts, you see here that the S&P is very close, very very close to break new highs here. So that's really good to see. Nasdaq record highs, the Dow very close to break new highs as well. So we are seeing volatility across the board. On the FX, we are also seeing here gold also dropping because of the strength on the dollar. Silver, same thing, good drops here today on silver. And so we are seeing here this volatility coming across the whole market, not just equities, which was the theme for the last few weeks and months, but now the FX are finally moving. And the question I'm asking myself right now is this going to come and stay? Okay, that's my big question right now, which no one has the answer for that question, but I hope this is still something, something big, and I hope that volatility come here and stay, because that's what we need as traders, right? So let's go here to the market that we start off all the time, and this is the dollar index, okay, guys, and this chart has been the same for like a long time, and and we saw this market, and it's very clear chart in my view. And what's happening here is what we discussed last time. If the dollar index, what we spoke, it was that if the dollar index, was finding a really hard time to go lower, was going to, go higher, and we saw this, the exact thing happening here, break, correction, and then now we are here. And look what's happening here right now. We have a new high in place. So very interesting day, but also you have to keep an eye on what's going to happen right now, like now, between now and the end of the session, and in the end of the day, because this is where false breakouts happen. It's when the market breaks new highs. Most of the traders believe that this will continue for the next few days, but the market make new highs and then drop, and that is very dangerous. So keep an eye. You don't want to see the dollar index, going below 97.50 again. And why 97.50? We had a high there, close there, and here again. So you can see that this 97.50 here, it's was resistance, now support. You don't want to see that breaking below, because if that breaks, it increases the chance of this breaking a new, being a false breakout. Okay, so for now, it's looking good. It's looking okay. Really good reaction, really good move on the market. But you want to see what's going to happen here next, because if you're long, you need to think about on the other side. If you're long, you don't want to see this reversing to where it was before, right? And if you are short, you don't want this to just hold here, right? Because if it holds here, the chances for this to break highs, it's quite high. So that's the reaction you want to see, one of those two here, okay, on the dollar index, in my view. So the dollar index, if we go back to the daily here, broke resistance, that 97.72, big, massive resistance on the dollar index. If we go to the euro, it's pretty much the same thing, but on the opposite, of course. And what we are seeing here is the euro coming here, testing this kind of a triangle trend line and holding very well. Euro actually, it's actually reversing harder than the dollar index is, and that is something to note. And you can see this candle here as well, not looking that bearish, let's say, right? The candle closes in 23 minutes. This is the 4-hour chart. So if we see the next candle being a green candle, like a big green candle, be very cautious, all right? So that's my view here on the euro. And the euro, I'm not. The pressure continues to be on the lower side. Okay, guys, that's my view here on the euro. In my view, so keep an eye, really close eye here on what's going to happen on the euro right now to the end of the day. See what kind of reaction we have. It's the same one that we just spoke about in the dollar index. What's going to happen? Because if I go here to the 30 minutes, for example, you can see that it bounced, but now you can easily go back down again. So you don't want to see the euro going above this last low, right? So we are talking here about 12.30, area. You don't want to see euro propping above that, because then it's going to suggest that this is holding and might have another pop, maybe to 113 again, and then maybe go lower again. So, that's the thing. So it's going to be very interesting to see where we're going to close, and secondly, what's going to happen tomorrow. Quick look here on the calendar. What's going to happen tomorrow? Pretty much nothing. We're just going to have some German data. That's pretty much it. We're going to have, of course, the Canadian data, which I will talk about in a few minutes. But for the euro itself, or for the dollar itself, nothing tomorrow that can change this market. Okay, so that's something to know. on the euro. But the euro, guys, let's say here, let's assume something here. Let's assume that the euro break this triangle, okay? Uh, Breaks this triangle and start making new lows of the year, okay? Remember that the last low on the euro was only March, so not too far ago, okay? And this was, let me put here the right line. The last low was 1176, okay? So that's the level you have to know. So let's assume that euro breaks new low somewhere. Where are we going to head, okay? Where are we going to go next? So where should be your target if you have a short in play or something like that? And let's see here what's going to happen. First, I'm going to use some fib extension here. So if I put on this last swing that we had higher, it's going to give us good areas to target. So, you can see here the first level that you have to watch is 1150 and then 11 area, okay? So those are the two areas that you can look for as a target or somewhere that you might try a long, I wouldn't do that. And the reason is because this market has been such in a big range, like, forever, pretty much this whole time here is a range. When you see the market locked like that and starts to break a new low or new high, you will see that everyone traded or everyone that has business anywhere inside of this box is going to go out. So what does that mean? It means that a lot of the time you will see this market really giving a big move. So it's not going to surprise me, for us to go to 11 area after we break 1176 very quickly, like in a day or two, okay? Because there are so many stops, so many people trying to get long, that if we go and start breaking new lows, those people are going to go out very quickly. And how do you know there's so many longs? Look at the reaction we're having right now. These are buyers jumping in the market. So this suggests to me that we might have a good move if we start breaking that 1176. Okay, so keep an eye on 1150 and 11 handle. Okay, below that, that's a tricky question actually. Because 11 is there, and the next level I probably would watch is 08. You can call me crazy, but that it is the 786 of the whole move higher. Okay, and that's something interesting to watch. Something as well, very small, but something that I will keep an eye as well is this trend line here that we have on the weekly, which is going to come around 1070. Okay, so only 40 pips below 11 handle. So keep an eye on that as well. Okay, but so far so good here for the euro. So it's going to be a very interesting day, rest of today and tomorrow as well. See what is going to happen. Okay. And same for the dollar index. We spoke about the dollar index before. What's going to happen, if we start breaking this 97.72, and I told you guys that 99, 100 are levels to watch. If I do the same kind of analysis here on the dollar index, you will see here that we have the 1.618 at 99 in level. So that is a really good area to target longs if you have any. I would, and I have longs in play, okay? I have dollar Canadian longs, I have New Zealand shorts in play. So these are working very well. So, 99 is going to come, something like in the top of this triangle, I think, a wedge or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so 99, somewhere there, I would be, a little bit cautious and see, maybe take some profits there or not. Okay, because in the long term, and I told you guys this before, I do think the dollar is going to go lower, just because the president wants a cheaper dollar, the economy needs a cheaper dollar to continue to be competitive. So, if the dollar goes to above 100, that's going to be a really good headache, a big headache for the president, for the Feds, for the whole economy, in my view. And but anyway, that's my view. But that's long term, So 99 very possible here if you start breaking higher. Let's go now to the cable. So the cable, guys. I don't really know what to say. Weekly chart, like if I go back to the weekly, nothing changed. Maybe a channel, maybe ready for another move lower to 125. I don't know. Maybe, very possible. Daily, same kind of thing. It's the same analysis that we have on the 4 hour. So let me leave it here pretty much. So you can see here that we had pretty much triangle, right? And now we are breaking lower. So if I measure the last move lower instead of the triangle and I put it on the breakout, you will see here that the triangle points to 127.50, 128. So these are, the key area to watch here on the cable, in my view. Lots of reaction happening on this level every time it gets there. So I think this zone here it's very possible for the cable now after we broke this triangle today. So no reason to buy the cable here. The only reason you will buy the cable is if we pop above 130. Okay? If this pops above 130, you want to get out because then we're going to have a huge false breakout. Until we are below 130, be short. That's my view here on the cable, okay? Knowing that what the dollar index is showing and whatever. But this here looks very bearish now, okay? Dollar Canadian, this one I'm long, got a little bit long, more long dollar Canadian for different reasons. Number one, let me go back here in time. Let's go to daily because the weekly here, just to recap, we don't have pretty much nothing here. You can see all the candles here, very range. You can see this in more detail, the daily chart, right? But what this looks like, maybe a triangle, like a very small triangle, like that. That's what looks like, and then I have a bigger one like this on the 4 hour as you saw. So this looks like a pop triangle, another pop higher, very likely, okay, very likely to happen. And why I'm getting long this is because we broke above 34. Secondly, this didn't went lower, like a lot lower because of the oil. It didn't go lower as the oil price was going higher. So the correlation that showed me that this was not ready to go lower as people expected. If I put it, if I compare here the oil chart and the dollar Canadian, you can see that the oil is moving higher, but dollar Canadian is steady, it's holding like very, very well. So that's my idea. Secondly, the strength on the dollar, as we described, is something that it helped me on this trade. And if oil, guys, for some reason reverse, okay, if oil for some reason reverse, this dollar Canadian, I think, is going to have a huge power to the upside, just because of correlation, okay? Buyers are noticing this, okay? Sellers, if I was a seller and looking the oil price going higher and dollar Canadian is just very strong, I would be very cautious, like ready to go out of the market at any minute because correlation that was showing me that this was ready to rip. And third, we had like a really beautiful false breakout below the triangle last week, right? Really good. That's when I bought this dollar Canadian. I started buying here, and I told guys in the chat room, and if you're not in the chat room, the link is on my Twitter account. You can join us for a free trial. 180 members, pretty much. Lots of people still online here, and this is the place to be. Okay, that's where we discuss the market and exchange ideas. Really nice place. So you are invited to join us. The link is on my Twitter account. Okay, but going back to the dollar Canadian, guys, this here looking very bearish. Okay, so if the dollar continues to gain strength, the oil, the oil, if oil doesn't, let's say, have a huge spike higher, this here is gonna continue to move higher. Okay, and if oil reverse lower, this is the market that you want to be, in my view. Okay. So looks good. So what's my target here? What's going to happen next? So let's assume that we've closed above the triangle today here, or not. But not a problem as well if we close like here today. It doesn't really matter. We can hold here and then break tomorrow. Okay, that's fine for me as well. But I don't want to see this market going below 134. Okay, that's the level of risk for us to use. Okay, so if you're buying in any level, you want to have your risk below this 134 handle. No question about it. So if this is start moving higher, where should you target? So my target here, and let's do this together actually. If I put a fib from the high there to the low that we have this year, the 618 is pretty much where we are now. So the 786 comes around 34.50, and if I measure the last move that we have lower inside of the triangle, you will see here that this also targets even higher a little bit, 35.50 as well. So this is the area that you want to take some profit off, okay? In my view, okay? If this breaks, guys, and then you have to watch this 138, okay? Looks like we have a big channel here, as you can see very clearly, big channel here. So, if we break here above, watch for 138 to be the next target, okay? But that's not gonna happen too soon, I believe. But I'm very happy. I will be very happy with 135 and 135.50. Okay, that's dollar Canadian Swissy. So this is a pair. I told you guys last week. Okay, this is the pair to keep an eye on because this was actually moving higher while the dollar index was moving lower. So that was very interesting to watch. And the opposite as well. The euro was moving. Euro dollar was moving higher. The dollar Swiss was actually moving higher as well, which was quite funny to see. Let's remember here together. If I put here the euro as well, the euro dollar, you will see here this type of. Let me change here, guys, the color. I'm putting red. Look, if this was very interesting for me because the euro was moving, as you can see here, the euro was moving higher here, right? And look what happened here. It's like very interesting price action. So this is why I love correlation, because when you see the two markets high correlated, one doing some type of reaction and the other one doing the same reaction, or not respecting what the other one is doing, you have to be ready for a kind of move coming soon. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Euro moving higher, the Swiss should be moving lower, like back to here again, but not. He hold it, and then when the euro went lower again, this just went really quick to the upside. So that's why I love correlation, and I recommend everyone to use. Very easy, guys. It's like a really good, easy analysis to do. So the Swiss here, let's go to the weekly charts, and this is the one you have to keep an eye on, because what we had kind of a double top in play. Everyone was trying to sell with stops above 0.128, right? Which was quite good. The risk reward depends where you sold, was perfect. But now we broke that and we don't have a double top anymore. So this here looks very, very bullish. There is no reason for you to come here and sell this market right now. I'm not saying that this is going to go back to here 100%. You should be putting your house in this market. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that this market looks like 75% bullish and only 25% bearish. It's like really high possibility for this to continue moving higher. And every dip on this market you have to buy with stop loss below this 0.124. And why 0.124? Because it's this double top that we had before. Okay. So this here is 0.128, so you should put your stop loss like below here, okay? So every dip, buy, stop loss there, okay? And where should you target is that last high, that we did before, like in 2016 and end of 2016 as well, which is 0.328. So that's, I think, the next level to watch. And if you want to sell for some reason, you should try to sell very close to this level, and stop loss very small as well, because we had like the euro, we are having like a really big congestion period, and this market is breaking, and as you can see, it's getting violent now. It's getting quite big, the reactions here. This is a pair that doesn't really move that much, okay? Doesn't really move that much. So when it does move, it needs to be noted. And today is like a really big day for this pair. I think it's 0.56% for a pair that only moves 30, 40 pips a day. That's quite a big green day here on the Swissy. So keep an eye, on the 0.350 area for a type of reaction there, okay? But be careful, okay? If you sell somewhere there, you have to use small risk, okay? That's my thinking there, okay? In my view, but looks very bullish still, so that's good. My trades are going on, and they are in the money, so that's I'm happy. Okay, let's go to the Aussie. So the Aussie, guys, this is a trade that we did a perfect analysis, but I didn't trade. And if you ask me why, I don't know. I know it sounds stupid, but that's the truth. Okay, I don't know why the hell I haven't shorted this pair. We had a perfect analysis, because I told you guys that we looks like we had a trend line here, which was the top of different times. 3 times before we went there, 4th time, and I said, look, we also have the 200 moving average there. That's a good place to sell. Really good risk rewards. And look what happened. We are now about 110 pips lower. Okay, so that's something interesting. So this is another pair that is at support right now, as you can see on the daily. If I go to the 4-hour chart here, let me draw here the same trend line. So we have this trend line on the daily. So you can see here the market is holding. Okay, it's holding here. Another trend line there as well, which we broke, retested, went higher. It's not a trend line that I normally watch. I can also delete this. Yeah, let's keep it simple. So the Aussie is at support. Okay, it's holding here, which is normal to happen after a little bit of a aggressive move here. But if tomorrow, for some reason, we start breaking to new lows, guys, this is going to go, okay? This is going to go, because if we go back to the daily, okay, you can imagine some people trying to buy here, right? Because it's kind of a trend line support area. But if we start breaking lower, you can imagine how ugly that's going to be, okay? So the next area is going to be like 70.50. That's a big area. And then if that goes, guys, I don't think this low here is going to hold. This low here, I don't think this is going to hold. So I think we're going to probably do this, and then maybe 69 or something, or even lower. Okay. Another thing that's affecting this pair is that trade talks between the U.S. and China. If they get in a deal, this pair here can suffer a little bit. But there is no deal, nothing concrete yet. So you can take actions as you want. But if the news breaks, saying that the U.S. reached a deal with China, this is a pair that you don't want to be a buyer, okay? So just saying, for the Aussie, okay? Let's go to the Kiwi. And the Kiwi, for me, is even more bearish than the Aussie, to be honest, and has been bearish, like, since we broke a triangle, right? We were short, like, here. I closed some trades because I didn't like this action here. And sometimes this happens, I hate it to say, but this happens sometimes, when we break a triangle and then just doing this, but most of the time, it's gonna come back inside of the triangle, and it's gonna look, it's not gonna be a triangle anymore. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, when I look where the price is right now, I'm really upset. But I didn't like this reaction we had here. So many retests and the market just holding, not giving that follow through. You know, this sometimes happens, but this is where we are. I shorted a few days ago last week as well. Again, not a really good price, okay, entry price, but this also happens, and it's more traded as well anyway. So it's not something that I need to be worried about. But this here, it's being a good trade. Now, this here, I think we are at support right now for some reason. Let me look something different as well. Let's see here what this says. So you can see here, we also have the 1.618 from the last swing higher. So you can see here, this area is big support for the QE in my view right now. So this is the place you have to watch. But then you ask yourself, okay, but what if the dollar index, the dollar continues to move higher? What's going to happen here? Is this zone is going to hold? And I'm not too sure. I don't think it will, because the Kiwi has been the weakest currency against the dollar for a few weeks now. Okay, I have been telling you guys this, especially in the chat room, that this is not a market that you want to be a buyer against the dollar, because every time the dollar bounce a little bit, this here cracks lower very fast. So if you want to be a dollar buyer, this pair, it needs to be on your list, one of the first ones, because it has been weak since the RBNZ, which was on this big red candle here, which they said that the most likely to be a cut than a increase in interest rates when they take that action. So that was quite very negative comment to come from a central bank, and here we are. So this here needs to be in your watch list for a reason that we are support. This market can hold here, but if the dollar continues to go higher tomorrow or during the week, this here is going to break this very easily, because this has been very heavy. This pair has been very heavy against the dollar. Okay, and what is the next level to watch then? If that breaks, this level breaks, guys, then I would probably look for 65. Yeah, I would probably look for 65, about 120 pips below this area. Okay, so I would probably watch for 65 here, which is just here. Okay. So yes, so I think dollar yen, the last forex pair that we haven't watched. So dollar yen, guys, very boring, very boring. I'm not too sure why this is not going higher. People are saying, okay, this is steady, this is holding very well, it's at the highs. Yes, but two things here to note. Number one, the dollar index has been very strong today, for example, and stocks are rallying. It's going higher. So why the hell dollar yen is not moving higher? That's my question. And I don't see this as a good point for dollar yen, to be honest. I think the opposite, actually. The correlations are exactly this. Both of the markets that affect this pair are moving higher. This should be right now above like 112.50 in my view. Okay, because of those two markets jumping today, and this is like here. So I'm not too sure. Dollar yen is like a complicated pair, because sometimes you will see this happening, and then the dollar starts to go lower, reverse, and then dollar yen bounce, and it's very complicated. But right now it's not looking so good, I have to say. So if equities find resistance, or the opposite, the dollar find resistance and start reversing a bit, this here can go lower. So this pair is one that I don't want to be a buyer and not a seller as well. The reason is why I don't want to, because this can also catch the market out of guard. So what does that mean? It means that, because of the dollar and the equities are moving higher and this is not going with it, at some point, or he's going to reverse or he's going to catch in price. Okay? So you need to be ready for that. Okay? I don't know what one of them is going to happen, but it's one that you have to keep an eye, because I think a good move is going to come on the dollar yen very soon, because the reaction is having. At some point, he needs to break higher or lower. Okay, guys, so keep that in mind. I saw as well some people doing a drawing, like a trend line like this. Might be, yeah, I can see here some good tests. So this might be, as a reference. But if you see this trend line breaking during Asian session, don't delete this trend line and find something else, because if it breaks during the Asia session, you're not going to see follow through, right? You're not going to see follow through. So that's my idea there. Let's go to commodities now, because gold at the moment is showing. It's, as you can see, we broke new lows, came to support. Why the support? What do we have there? Why did we stop? You can see here this high, right? In July last year, then we saw this high at the same level. In December, reversed, then we broke, then we retested in after Christmas, one day after Christmas, and then gold went and came all the way here. And now we are saying, the market gets to this level and seeing some buyers. So it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to happen on gold next. But going back a little bit, let's recap here what happened on gold. And gold did something very interesting that I always tell you guys to look for, which is a market that when you reverse and does not give us a good correction, it gives us the alert that this is going to continue. So gold moves lower here, good correction, goes lower. And here what's happening next, we try to do a correction here, but as you can see, if I put a fib from here to here, you will see that we didn't even reach the 23.6% fib. So when the correction is so shallow, it's a great chance that this is going to make a new low. Okay, so this is what happens. I did some scalping on gold today because of this, because I was seeing this market, not giving us a good sizable, like a really good size of correction, and then start breaking low. I had to sell, so I sold like here below this low here that we had. I sold there and closed like here. Okay, so when you see corrections shallow as this, new low or high is very likely to happen next. So that's gold for me. So let's have a quick look here next. Let me delete this. There we go. So let's go to the daily. In the daily, guys, I told you guys that I was hoping that gold comes around this 1260 area, and I still do. Okay. I'm not sure that's gonna happen, but I hope it does. At least 1260. Okay. It might come to 1240, but 1260 is good. Okay. A really good correction. It's gonna look like an ABCD type of correction. But this zone here is really interesting to note. If gold gets to here, of course we're gonna analyze as the price goes there. But for now, I'm not sure what's gonna go, because we saw gold going lower at the right time. The dollar was making new highs, and then we quite reversed pretty much the whole move lower, to new lows. So not a type of action that you want to see on gold. But who knows? This might close here. No one knows exactly what's going to happen. So let's see what we're going to close today and what type of reaction we're going to have tomorrow. Because tomorrow we might, who knows? We might be here or here tomorrow, and either one of those two, might give us a clearer image of what the market's going to do next. But the levels I'm watching on gold here, which I might try to get by, or I might try a long, is 1260, then 1250, and then 1236 or so. This area here on gold, to be honest, I might get long there a bit, but for now, too early to tell what's going to happen next. And the dollar continues to look strong. If you look at the dollar, if we go back to the dollar index, it's holding. It's not moving in lower, right? Same thing for the cable. Since we start this live session, you can see here it's not not popping quickly like gold did. If you go back to the gold, you'll see here that a good squeeze higher. But that's gold for now. Okay. Very interesting to see. And if you are a short, you don't want to see this market, going above 1280. Okay, that's the level of risk here on gold. So below 1280, it's bearish. Above 1280, it's going to start looking a little bit more bullish, and and then we have to rethink here of what's going to happen. Okay, in my view. And if gold goes above 1280, then I have to also go back to dollar index and see what's going to happen here, because if gold goes above 1280, the dollar might have like a hard time to go higher, and then you have to start thinking, okay, so when I get out, okay, things like that. So that's gold there. Silver, quick look on silver. So silver, here it is. Silver, actually, I'm not too sure what to say. If we look the 4-hour chart, for example, you see this the area that the market has been holding, and never had a close below, and we did it on silver now. So this looks a little bit more bearish here, to be frank. You don't want to see, of course, this breaking above this area, because if that breaks, then you have to target this area here. But below here, guys, silver might do that, So that's very interesting to see. Daily as well, as you can see, many weeks left behind, and first time silver is closing below this blue line, which is these two highs here, double top we have. First time we are closing. Looks like we're going to close today below that blue line for the first time. So a little bit more bearish than gold here, in my view, on silver. And like I drawn here before, this X, I'm very interested to see what silver is gonna do when it reaches this day zone here, in my view. Because let's also do this. So if I put a flip from the low to the high, you will see that we have the 786 there as well. So this zone here is where you want to have a look and see if we have any type of correction there and reaction. But silver looks a little bit bearish here, in my view. Equities, I'm not too sure what's going to happen here, to be frank. But one thing is for sure, I don't see anything bearish at all. Like we described on the gold, not giving giving a shallow move higher. S&P is doing pretty much the same thing. Every time he wants to correct, he doesn't really correct that much. If we look at the last correction we had, which is this one here, let me show you. Like this here, he tried to correct here, right? But if you put a fib from the last move, the last swing, right, which is this one here to here, you will see that he stopped at the 23.6, and then that is not funny. Very shallow there. The previous one to that was like here, this triangle here, right? He didn't touch the 23 there, so new high, more than expected. And so this has been the theme. Every time he wants to correct, or he touched the 23 and down straight away, or he didn't even get there and then just bounce straight away. So this is not a market that you want to be in front of, to be very honest with you right now. But like I said, like I tweeted as well a few minutes, like 2 hours ago, uh, this is very aggressive move. Like we can see here on the weekly chart, but it's not healthy. I said this. I tweeted. You know, it's going really fast to the upside, and this is not healthy. I forgot the name of the person. If you guys remember, let me know, please. But there is an investor that said that every time a market goes straight away up or down, like in a straight line, it's gonna get ugly. And this, guys, it's what it is. Okay, to be very honest, especially this type of move that we have for the last few weeks and months. You know, this V shape kind of move on these equities are not healthy. And why are not healthy? Because something is behind it, dragging this market up. Okay, economically, nothing pretty much changed. Economies around the world continues to be very sensitive. Europe are in a bad shape. U.S. have something dodgy here and there, okay, which needs to keep an eye on, and that's pretty much everywhere, just because. And then every time we get a data from China or Asia, which are good, everyone takes that as, we are saved, and I think it's not as quick as people think, but this market is moving higher as it is, and I don't think it's the right time to get short now, but I do think that it's going to reach at some point that everyone, big investors, everyone's going to look at the market and say, it's not going to keep this, it's not going to be like this forever. It's not going to keep like this forever, and we're going to have a very similar move that we had at the end of last year again, or even stronger this time. And keep in mind, every time we have a correction lower, it's a lot faster than a move up. That's something to note. Maybe you said, okay, but this move up that we are seeing here since the the start of the year, it's a lot. It is fast, and it is. But what I'm saying is that if you look the candles, the size of the candles when we sell, it's larger. Like we look this size of this candle here. That is very bearish, and it's very scary. So for people to get panicked and crazy because of equities are very easy because they are buying, and they are buying at the highs, like the highs of the year, and that's the opposite of what people can do and what they are learned to do, right? We are learned to buy cheap and sell expensive, right? But because of this market is just moving higher, they are only buying at expensive and losing money when they sell. That's the theme here that we are seeing. So it's very crazy. So every time the market gets a bit of a panic, it moves lower very fast. So be careful buying. I know you might. I have been saying this for a few weeks now, but that's how I feel. Right, buying at the highs of the year is not a good plan. And but to call a place to sell, it's hard. It's hard because the governments are behind this move. I'm pretty sure it is. Central banks, especially. So it's not something that you want to go against. And tomorrow, guys, can be the day of a new highs on the S&P. So expect the Trump to come out and say, "Look, I'm the best president of the U.S." Get over it. Expect that to happen. It's not going to be hard. That's how it is. So now S&P is there, Nasdaq new highs, like I said, and the Nasdaq. Keep an eye on this trend line here I have on the daily here. I'm not saying it's gonna stop there, but it's something that keep an eye, right? And this channel as well, especially this channel, because we already have three lows on this channel. Okay, it's not only two, it's three. So if this breaks, then we might see a good reaction. And when I say good reaction, I don't mean to here. Okay, I mean like to here maybe. Somewhere here. Okay, at least. So that's Nasdaq. German stock still like this. If you want to sell equities, sell Europeans. Those are the ones you want to sell because the lag behind it, it's quite good to watch. It's not following the U.S. kind of market. The DAX continues to be way off the highs. So these other markets you want to be involved if you want to be a sell, and that includes the opposite, right? If you want to buy equities, you don't want to buy DAX. You want to buy American ones because those are the ones moving higher more aggressively. And I think that's all, guys. We saw pretty much everything. Let's have a quick look on the watch list. Let's see the big movers. So Apple above our 200. Finally, that 200 level was quite big. The 618 was there, big area, lots of gaps, here and there. So we finally popping. So you can see here, looks as well that we have maybe a channel. So keep an eye on the Apple here. It's not the best place for you to try along. But at the same time, you don't want to sell. The Apple shares here. Another big mover. Oh, Bitcoin. Yes. Bitcoin. Bitcoin moving a lot today, and if we look the weekly chart, this is quite very basic, something basic technique to use. We saw a triangle. Then you measure the last swing low we had inside of the triangle, which was this one. Then I cloned this arrow, put it here. As you can see, the low was very close to that target. Then we touched the 200 moving average, and we, took a long time, really long time, and now we are moving higher. And we are back to this zone of support, which was support, now resistance. So keep that in mind, and a little bit higher, I think on the daily. Yeah, on the daily we have this kind of a triangle here, trend line drawn here. So keep an eye on what level? 65, 6,500 level. Okay, on Bitcoin. If we go above this 5,800. Okay, guys, that's my view here on the Bitcoin. Why the 5,800 is because this last low here of last year. Well, last year was this one actually. So I'm talking about the low we had in June. Before we made a triangle, volatility dropped very aggressively, and then after we broke, great volatility came back, and now we are here again. So keep an eye on these two levels, 5,800. If that breaks, watch for 6,400. And if that breaks, guys, I think Bitcoin is going to go a lot higher, like 10,000 again, if the 6,400 goes, to be honest. That's my thinking. A little bit there. We can talk about Bitcoin on the next live session as well. Deutsche Bank, keep an eye on this stock, guys. Very shallow retracement. We spoke about it twice today already. So this is what's happening here. It's not giving any pullback. If you put a fib, okay, even from, well, if we put it from here to there, of course, we reached the 38.2. But even from this small fib, we only touched that 38.2, But if we put on the big one, it's even far from the 23.6. So very bearish, very shallow retracement, and this can start breaking low to new lows very soon, like very quickly. So be ready for that, okay? Pull alerts, everything you can think of there. Brazilian stock market, big green day there. Not new highs though. 3M, new highs there, like on the weekly, holding very well. Nothing crazy there. Um, the VIX. Oh, this is a market that you want to watch, laugh, and drink a beer because the S&P moving, aggressively lower. The VIX has been holding very, very well. This is something to watch and get a little bit worried. Why the VIX is not at 11.5 or even 11 handle? I'm not too sure why. But here we are. So be ready, okay, for the VIX. Let me move this trend line here. This is the wrong place. Yeah, so, the VIX are the bottom of this trend line here, holding well. But the party only going to start, guys, when we break this trend line here, the above one. If this breaks, then we're going to have a huge move on the stock market. That's why I have the arrow. Up inside here, it's only noise. Only noise. Oil. Oh, let's talk about oil. So oil, guys, I have shorts on oil too. I actually added to my selling position my final part of my shorts on oil today. My entry on that one is 66.18. So it's like where we are right now, actually. And the reason is because we are touching this trend line here. On here, what else? What is this? Oh, this is the channel which I drawn. Okay. Actually, let me delete this. Let me put it the correct one so it doesn't get messy. Okay, something like that. Okay, perfect. Now it's better. So, yeah, we have a trend line here, like from this high to this high. It's not like a massive trend line, but it's one to use as a reference. And for our chart, guys, we are, like close to a fib extension. We surpassed that, I know, but it's holding, not doing much. We made a new high, but not far, not like well above, So it's holding here. And something to note, guys, let me go back to the daily here. Is this RSI is diverging, like a lot, if you see here. The last time we made a new high on the RSI was like here, okay? So since then, we are diverging very, very clearly. So that's something to watch. That's why I have my shorts in place. But there is a chance for this market to reach the 68 level. Why? It's a big resistance area, okay? This one here, 68, is here, as you can see, okay? It's a place that we saw some reaction in the market, right? The market get there, a bit of a bounce, big red day, came back, retested, and then had a really big selling off. So 68 is massive, and don't forget this head and shoulders that we have here, okay? This head and shoulders here points to the 68 as well. So I'm not saying we're not gonna go any higher. There is the possibility for us to go higher, but a lot of people are expecting this move to 68 to sell there. That's my thinking. When a lot of people think the same kind of level, the market doesn't really get there. Or when it gets there, it surpasses that. So I'm just getting into the market. I don't have any problems for the market to go to the 68. My stop loss is going to be above the 70 area, like 70.50 or so. My stop losses are here, okay? Just above the channel as well. My stop loss are here, So that's my risk. So I'm risking this to make, I'm expecting a move to 50 again. So my risk here is nearly 3-1, okay? Kind of. Actually, my reward is bigger because my average just increased because of my entry today. But anyway, this is a market and you need to be a little bit patient. Diverging is there. Weekly, we have some things here in play too. And economic growth didn't improve at all. So, no one wants oil prices to go higher. Only the OPEC, because they don't care what central banks think or the economy works. They want to make money. That's all, really. So, but it's going to get into a time that the price is going to be a lot. It's going to be very expensive, and it's going to hurt everyone. And when it hurts their pocket, that's when they put the foot out of the gas, and this can go lower very quickly. Okay, but that's oil here for now. But nothing like, okay, now it's bearish. Okay, not a candlestick, not a formation, nothing that gives me a solid view that this is start something like start off a top. Okay, just yet. Tomorrow can be a different story. To this start looking good, I need to see a move below 65, okay, or even 64, 70 area. If these levels starts to break, then it's going to look like amazing, okay, amazing. So 65, this is the zone you want to see this market go below to confirm that we have a top, okay. Goes below, expect something like that, to happen, okay, to be honest. And I think that's all. I think I checked all the markets. Very interesting markets there. You have to watch Dutchman Bank. This is very shallow. I think we are very close to a sub breaking lower, below the 8 level, and the 7.50. And the dollar Swiss, very interesting. Look for any pullback to get in. Dollar Canadian, above 34, looks very strong, even with strong oil. And those are the markets I'm keeping an eye on. Okay, keep an eye on the euro as well. Okay, euro with if we can break this trend line here, this triangle, this can move a lot lower in my view. So these are the markets I'm watching, guys, and and that's pretty much all I have for today. Thanks so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, because it's gonna help me quite a lot. It's gonna help me quite a lot to continue doing live sessions and offering you guys even more content in the future. And I think that's all. Thanks very much for being here. This is going to be recorded, okay? It's going to be on my channel. So if you haven't watched the whole session, or if you missed something, you can always come back and watch it again. It's going to be here saved for you to watch at any time. Okay, guys? Thanks so much. Have a great week. I hope to do another live session during the week as well to update you guys what happens and everything else. And again, if you want to join me, if you want to know what I'm doing, what markets I'm watching, and have other people to communicate, you can always come to the chat room, try a free trial. There are other traders, amazing traders here as well, Copsy, Simple Trends, myself, and CTM, good people here, good traders for you to give you a hand when you need help. Okay, guys? But anyway, hope you have a great week. Trade well. Trade carefully. Okay? Hopefully, volatility came to stay. And that's all, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Bye.